Pemerintah memberikan insentif pajak bagi perusahaan go public yang memenuhi kriteria tertentu terkait kepemilikan saham. Kemudian, perusahaan akan mendapatkan perhatian dari media dan para analis. Produk, jasa, serta proyek perusahaan akan semakin dikenal dan dipercaya. Peluang bisnis dan kerjasama akan semakin terbuka. Dengan pendanaan melalui go public, ekspansi usaha menjadi lebih mudah dan cepat, sehingga menunjang pertumbuhan kinerja perusahaan yang berdampak pada meningkatnya kepercayaan publik dan stakeholders. Pemegang saham pendiri atau founder tidak hanya dapat menikmati apresiasi harga saham yang dimilikinya seiring dengan peningkatan harga saham di bursa, tetapi juga mendapatkan perlakuan pajak transaksi penjualan yang lebih menguntungkan dibandingkan jika perusahaan belum go public.
Government ensures the technical readiness of direct flights to Bali. Good evening, it's February 7, 2022. Market Headlines is ready to provide you information from business and economy. And with me, Fajar Wayong, you're watching Market Headlines. And let's start today's market headlines. Regarding the decision to open direct international flights to Bali, the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy ensured that technical preparations had been made, including modification of quarantine policies and preparations for implementing health protocols at the airport.
The government has officially opened direct flights from abroad to Bali effective from February 4th, 2022. The Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy Sandiaga Uno said direct flights to Bali are not limited to 19 countries but also for all tourists who enter using an e-visa. Sandiaga explained that the moment was a good test before the main event of the G20 and other international events. Sandiaga also said that the government had modified the COVID-19 control policy, such as an area-based quarantine system for tourists to a quarantine period for foreign tourists, which was enforced for 5 days.
Karena semenjak Oktober diumumkan Bali terbuka untuk 19 negara sampai hari ini belum ada penerbangan langsung. Kali ini kita memodifikasi kebijakan agar momentum kebangkitan kita ini bisa terus kita rawat dengan baik, sehingga nanti juga ini merupakan uji coba yang baik sebelum G20, tentunya pertemuan side meetings yang akan terjadi ini bisa kita lakukan dengan konsep penanganan pandemi.
Currently, direct flights have been confirmed from Japan's Narita Airport route to Ngurah Rai Airport, Bali. In addition, direct flights from Singapore to Bali will be carried out in the middle of February. From Jakarta, Raharjo Padmo for IDX Channel.
The daily spike in COVID-19 cases due to the Omicron variant has depressed hotel occupancy rates again. The Indonesian Hotel and Restaurant Association noted that hotel occupancy rates had decreased significantly.
The positive number of the Omicron variant of COVID-19 continues to increase. Until Thursday, February 3rd, 2022, the Task Force for Handling COVID-19 reported that there were an additional 27,000 new cases, or higher than the previous day, which recorded 17,000 cases. The General Chairman of the Indonesian Hotel and Restaurant Association, Haryadi Sukamdani, explained that the increase in Omicron cases had put further pressure on the recovery situations in the hospitality business sector. The daily increase in cases resulted in a decrease in hotel occupancy rates. Haryadi gave an example, such as the situations in Jakarta, where the occupancy rate was at the level of 50 to 55%, but it's now back down to around 40%.
Karena ya ini situasi seperti ini ya, jadi kalau untuk Jakarta itu kita sudah sempat kemarin di angka 50 sampai 55%, ya sekarang drop lagi gitu di angka kira-kira sekitar 40%. Hal ini memang membuat masyarakat lebih berhati-hati ya untuk melakukan perjalanan. Jadi ini juga ada dampaknya juga untuk pertemuan-pertemuan yang tadinya sudah dijadwalkan akan ada meeting-meeting yang sifatnya offline. Nah, ini juga banyak juga yang sementara ini ditunda.
The daily surge in Omicron cases is expected to continue to have an impact on the hotel occupancy situations. This also has an impact on a number of events at hotels, which have also been postponed due to the increase in COVID-19 cases. From Jakarta, Rajo Patmo for IDX Channel.
The Ministry of Finance ensures that it will continue to promote the socialization of the voluntary tax disclosure program, which will only be open until June 2022. And to that end, the Minister of Finance Sri Mulyani Indrawati asked taxpayers to immediately take advantage of the program. Minister of Finance remembers that the government already has a system to track assets that have not been reported even though they are abroad. Sri Mulyani also ensured that the Directorate General of Taxes would continue to disseminate information to taxpayers to immediately participate in the voluntary tax disclosure program. As of February 3, 2022, the tax voluntary disclosure program has succeeded in disclosing the assets of taxpayers, reaching 9.22 trillion rupiah. The amount of the property was disclosed by 9,900 taxpayers, while the ransom value through the payment of income tax received by the state has reached 977.5 billion rupiah.
Direktorat Jenderal Pajak dan kita seluruhnya akan terus melakukan sosialisasi kepada seluruh wajib pajak, sehingga program ini yang hanya terbatas sampai dengan akhir Juni 2022, jadi tinggal 5 bulan lagi, akan bisa dimanfaatkan secara optimal oleh wajib-wajib pajak yang memang masih perlu untuk menggunakan pengungkapan pajak sukarela ini.
And we're moving on to global update. The United States economy added a robust 467,000 jobs in January. Meanwhile, Vladimir Putin has unveiled new Russian oil and gas deals with China, worth an estimated $117 billion. More stories on today's International Minute.
The United States economy added a robust 467,000 jobs in January, the U.S. Department of Labor said on Friday. That was far better than most analysts were expecting and quells fears that the fast-spreading Omicron variant of COVID-19 temporarily dented the labor market recovery in the world's largest economy. The U.S. jobs market also closed out 2021 on a stronger footing than first thought. Jobs creation for November and December last year were revised up by a combined 709,000. The nation's unemployment rate edged up slightly in January to 4% after falling to 3.9% in December. President Vladimir Putin has unveiled new Russian oil and gas deals with China worth an estimated $117.5 billion, promising to ramp up Russia's Far East exports at a time of heightened tension with European customers over the Ukraine crisis. Russia, already Beijing's third largest gas supplier, has been strengthening ties with China, the world's biggest energy consumer, reducing its dependence on its traditional European energy customers. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the deal was for 25 years, while a Chinese industry source said it was for 30. Iceland, one of the only countries that still hunts whales commercially, announced that it plans to end whaling in 2024 as demand for whale meat plummets. Demand for Icelandic whale meat has decreased dramatically since Japan, island's main market, especially for fin whale meat, returned to commercial whaling in 2019 after a 3-decade hiatus. The extension of a no-fishing coastal zone requiring whalers to go even further offshore also made islands hunt more costly. Saudi Arabia has started preliminary discussions on a fresh Aramco stock offering that could raise more money than its landmark listing 2 years ago, people familiar with the matter said. The oil giant's fortunes have shifted dramatically since its record-breaking 2019 initial public offering, which brought more than $29.4 billion into the kingdom's coffers. IDX Channel reports.
The government raises restrictions in Jabodetabek to level 3. Stay tuned on Market Headlines.
Saya Mangivera Tjong dan rekan saya Wicky Adrian hadir dalam Power Breakfast.
Awali hari Anda dengan informasi dunia ekonomi yang diulas dari berbagai sudut pandang.
Indeks harga saham gabungan konsisten.
Simak pula analisa pasar modal dan inspirasi bisnis dari berbagai perusahaan rintisan. Power Breakfast, Senin sampai Jumat, pukul 8.00, hanya di IDX Channel.
Geofas itu apa sih, Bu?
Merupakan suatu semen yang berbeda dengan semen yang biasanya kita kenal seperti kayak
Welcome back on Market Headlines. The Ministry of Transportation issued the latest regulations of requirements for foreign tourists. One of the requirements is the foreign tourist must show the ownership of health insurance with a minimum coverage of $25,000.
The Ministry of Transportation issued the latest regulations for foreign air travel, which will take effect on February 3rd, 2022. One of them is the ownership of health insurance for foreigners visiting Indonesia. Under the new regulation, foreigners are required to have proof of ownership of health insurance with a minimum coverage value of $25,000. This coverage must also include financing for handling COVID-19. The new rules are contained in Circular Number 11 of 2022 concerning guidelines for the implementations of overseas travel by air transportations during the COVID-19 pandemic period. In addition, the Ministry of Transportation also requires foreigners to include proof of booking confirmations and payment for accommodations while staying in Indonesia. In addition to showing a COVID-19 vaccination card or certificate and RT-PCR tests, foreigners with tourist destinations are also required to attach a short visit visa or other entry permit in accordance with applicable regulations. Both Indonesian citizens and foreign nationals traveling abroad for tourist destinations could only go through 3 airports. The Ministry of Transportation ensures that it will supervise air transportation operators and prospective passengers. He reminded airlines that serve passengers outside the territory of Indonesia must ensure that the passengers transported meet the provisions of the country of flight's destination. IDX Channel report.
Coordinating Minister for Maritime Affairs and Investment Luhut Binsar Panjaitan said that Jakarta, Bogor, Depok, Tangerang and Bekasi or Jabodetabek would move up to level 3 implementation of community activity restrictions or PPKM. Also for Yogyakarta, Greater Bandung and Bali would also advance to PPKM level 3. Complete provisions regarding PPKM will be regulated in instruction of the Ministry of Home Affairs. Meanwhile, the Coordinating Minister for Economic Affairs, Erlangga Hartarto, said that the total number of cases had reached 13,424 or 7%.
Berdasarkan level assessment saat ini, kami sampaikan bahwa aglomerasi Jabodetabek, daerah istimewa Yogyakarta, Bali, Bandung Raya, dan akan ke level 3. Hal ini terjadi bukan akibat tingginya kasus. Saya ulangi, bukan akibat tingginya kasus, tetapi juga karena rendahnya tracing. Pemerintah menghimbau kepada masyarakat untuk tidak panik dalam menghadapi lonjakan kasus Omikron ini, karena pemerintah telah mengambil langkah-langkah persiapan untuk menghadapi gelombang Omikron ini. Masyarakat tetap aja beraktivitas seperti biasa, saya ulangi seperti biasa sesuai dengan aturan prokes dan ketentuan PPKM.
Sehingga kasus konfirmasi harian kita masih di luar Jawa masih 6,7% atau totalnya 2.405 dan kasus kematian juga masih 3 dan secara keseluruhan kasus aktif 13.424 atau 7%. Nah, kalau kita lihat keterpakaian tempat tidur atau bed occupancy rate di luar Jawa yang tertinggi itu di Sulawesi Tenggara 15%, Sumatera Selatan 11%, kemudian Lampung 11%, Kalsel 10%, Bengkulu 10%, sisanya di bawah 10%.
Indonesia's economy in the fourth quarter of 2021 is able to grow above 5%. This makes Indonesia's gross domestic product throughout 2021 grow positively in 2021 after in 2020 the economic growth was negative. As a result, economic growth throughout 2021 was recorded at 3.69%. The Central Statistics Agency, BPS, announced that during October to December 2021, Indonesia's GDP grew 1.06% compared to the previous quarter. Compared to the fourth quarter of 2020 or year-on-year, the Indonesian economy grew 5.02%. Indonesia's economic growth was in line with the positive economic growth of a number of trading partner countries in the fourth quarter of 2021. In details, China grew 4%, the United States grew 5.5%, Singapore grew 5.9%, then South Korea grew 4.1%, Vietnam 5.2%, Hong Kong 4.8%, and the European Union grew 4.8%.
Pada triwulan 4 tahun 2021 ini, ya kalau kita lihat perekonomian Indonesia yang diukur dari besaran produk domestik bruto atau PDB, pada triwulan 4 tahun 2021 ini, PDB atas dasar harga berlaku itu mencapai 4.498,0 triliun rupiah. Dan kalau kita hitung berdasarkan harga konstan, ya PDB Q4 2021 itu sebesar 2.845,9 triliun rupiah. Ya. Angka ini kalau kita hitung pertumbuhan ekonominya, kalau saya bandingkan dengan triwulan 3 tahun 2021 atau secara Q2Q, ekonomi Indonesia pada triwulan 4 ini tumbuh sebesar 1,06%. Dan kalau saya bandingkan dengan triwulan 4 tahun 2020 atau secara Y on Y, ekonomi Indonesia tumbuh sebesar 5,02%. Dan secara kumulatif, artinya selama tahun 2021 atau secara C2C, ekonomi Indonesia tumbuh sebesar 3,69%. Gitu ya. Dengan realisasi penanaman modal asing atau PMA dan juga penanaman modal dalam negeri atau PMDN, di mana pada triwulan 4 itu meningkat, ya, meningkatnya kalau secara Q2Q 11,5% dan secara Y on Y meningkatnya 12,5%.
Market headlines will be back after this quick break. Stay tuned with us.
Awali hari Anda dengan informasi dunia ekonomi yang diulas dari berbagai sudut pandang. Power Breakfast, Senin sampai Jumat, pukul 8.00, hanya di IDX Channel.
Ya halo pemirsa, nama saya Mangivera Tjong. Saat ini saya menjabat sebagai presenter dan juga associate producer. Saat ini saya membawakan program IDX Session Closing, di mana di program tersebut saya menganalisa isu-isu ekonomi yang menarik, baik dari luar negeri maupun juga dari dalam negeri. Tentunya hingga saat ini saya masih terus belajar dan saya sangat menikmati profesi tersebut. Geofas itu apa sih, Bu?
Merupakan suatu semen yang berbeda dengan semen yang biasanya kita kenal seperti kayak
Presiden Joko Widodo kembali menghimbau pekerja perkantoran untuk bekerja dari rumah atau work from
Kumpulan berita ekonomi dan bisnis dari dalam negeri.
Bekerja dari rumah, work from home, lakukanlah.
Pemerintah resmi memperlakukan minyak goreng satu harga sebesar
Mengungkap fakta dan data perekonomian secara mendalam.
Jenis kemasan.
Seluruh minyak goreng akan dijual 14.000
Senin sampai Jumat pukul 14.30 hanya di IDX Channel.
You're watching Market Headlines. At the Jakarta Composite Index intraday movement earlier today, JCI was open at the level of 6,771.53. And then approaching the closing time on the first session, the index was on the level of 6,777.64. And then the index was showing strengthening trend by the second session closing time. Index was closed at the level of 6,804.93. And in short, JCI went up 1.09%. And next we're going to see the sectoral movement leading the dynamics of today's trading. We got cyclic as the leader of strengthening trend that went up 2.83%. Basic went up 1.57%. Health as leader of weakening trend that went down 0.16%. And technology sector went down 0.02%. And moving on to top gainers and top losers. Let's see the top gainers of today's trading. Bank Rakyat Indonesia went up 4.51% to the level of 4,400 rupiah per share. Bank Sentral Asia went up 0.97% to the level of 7,800 rupiah per share. IPTV went up 21.977% to the level of 179 rupiah per share. And BCAP went up 33.77% to the level of 206 rupiah per share. Meantime, the top losers for today's trading, we got Arto went down 1.2% to the level of 16,500 rupiah per share. Astra International went down 0.45% to the level of 5,475 rupiah per share. BBYB went down 1.41% to the level of 2,100 rupiah per share, and FPNI went down 6.58% to the level of 426 rupiah per share. And we're going to see the intraday movement of rupiah towards US dollar. Open at the level of 14,408 rupiah, showing weakening trend towards US dollar. And it was closed at the level of 14,396, and in summary, rupiah went down 0.15%. Java Confit Indonesia recorded significant increase in exports of fishery products. The company's exports reached 524.6 billion rupiah in 2021.
Supported by rising foreign markets, last year's export of fishery products from Java Confit Indonesia experienced a significant increase. The company also continues to expand its export market. Meanwhile, through its subsidiary Suritani Pemuka, Java recorded exports of fishery products worth 524.6 billion rupiah in 2021. This realization increased by 30.5% compared to the export value of fishery products in 2020. Products such as processed tilapia, shrimp, and eels are sent to various countries, such as the United States, Canada, as well as several countries, which are Japan, Taiwan, Malaysia, Thailand, Philippines, Brunei, Singapore, and Italy. Through the market potential that is still wide, the company's subsidiary is said to be increasing the quantity of production to meet domestic and global demand. According to the President Director of Suritani Pemuka, Ardi Budiono, the increase in exports is in line with the company's strategic plan to expand the market. IDX Channel reports.
Kino Indonesia plans to buy back shares by setting up a maximum of 100 billion rupiah to buy 20 million shares that have been issued and listed on the Indonesia Stock Exchange. Director and Corporate Secretary of Kino, Budi Mulyono, stated that the total cost prepared to carry out the share buyback was a maximum of 100 billion rupiah, sourced from Kino's internal cash, excluding transaction costs, brokerage fees, and other costs related to the maximum share buyback of 20 million shares. He conveyed that Kino's board of directors believes that the implementation of the share buyback will not affect the company's business activities and growth because Kino has sufficient working capital to carry out all business activities, business development, operational activities, and share buybacks. Pura Delta Lestari achieved marketing sales income of 1.76 trillion rupiah in 2021. The marketing sales supported by the sale of an industrial land area of 62.5 hectares.
Pura Delta Lestari achieved marketing sales income of 1.76 trillion rupiah in 2021. This realization reached 88% of the marketing sales target set by the company for 2021 of 2 trillion rupiah. Director and Corporate Secretary of Pura Delta Lestari, Tondi Suwanto, said that last year was quite good for the company's business, despite the challenges of the pandemic. Meanwhile, the marketing sales of the issuer in 2021 supported by the sale of an industrial land area of 62.5 hectares. Meanwhile, the automotive sector and the data center sector are the main contributors to sales of Pura Delta industrial land in 2021. Along with the increase in demand for industrial land from the data center sector, the company has also prepared special zones that can support data central industrial activities and similar industrial. Conditions changed slightly in the second half of last year when positive cases of COVID-19 rose, so the government tightened mobility rules. Tondi revealed that the limited space for movement both domestically and internationally had an impact on the delay in the process of buying and selling industrial land. IDX Channel reports.
And viewers, the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel. I'm Fajar Wayong. Have a nice evening. Stay healthy.
Halo pemirsa, selamat pagi. Langsung dari area studio IDX Channel Jakarta, saya Mangivera Tjong dan rekan saya Fajar Wayong hadir dalam Power Breakfast.
Ya, pemirsa, kami hadir setiap pagi menemani Anda dengan menyajikan informasi ekonomi, bisnis, dan pasar modal khas Power Breakfast. Dan tentunya live streaming kami bisa Anda saksikan di www.idxchannel.com.
Oke, dan tak lupa kami terus mengingatkan untuk tetap menerapkan protokol kesehatan selama masa pandemi ini. Tentunya agar kita terbebas dari COVID-19. Dan pemirsa, mari kita ikuti Power Breakfast selengkapnya.
Ya, sebelum kita ke informasi pertama nih pemirsa, kita tahu ya Jakarta hari ini ternyata hujan begitu ya, cuacanya tidak begitu cerah, bahkan bisa kita katakan mendung sepanjang waktu. Mangi tadi di jalan kena macet atau gimana nih?
Kalau tadi saya berangkat kerja nggak macet, tapi ngantuknya minta ampun Fajar. Mungkin karena cuaca hujan jadinya pengennya tidur aja tapi nggak mau kerja, tapi maunya digaji, gimana dong?
Atau Mangi belum ngopi? Atau...
Belum.
Oh,
abis ini
itu.
kamu beliin aku kopi ya?
Boleh.
Abis siaran ya?
Hot coffee atau iced coffee?
Pokoknya yang paling mahal aku pilihnya ya.
Boleh, boleh. Ngopi biar matanya melek ya. Mungkin juga pemirsa di rumah sambil cuacanya kayak gini, boleh juga sambil mungkin seduh kopi panas ataupun coklat panas sambil nonton Power Breakfast ya, Mami.
Oke, dan langsung saja kita masuk ke informasi yang pertama di pagi hari ini, pemirsa. Di mana pemerintah Provinsi DKI Jakarta mengusulkan dinaikannya pemberlakuan pembatasan kegiatan masyarakat atau PPKM